Howdy y'all. Today we're going to be doing a Surreal Perspective Composition using Photoshop. So for my students, you're going to go into Google Classroom and go to classwork, go to the corresponding week to hit view assignment, and then you can see what the requirements are. You are to create a composition showing perspective, 1 or 2 points, so you have a choice. You are to incorporate surreal components to your composition. You will make sure the entire project is filled and colored, and then use reflections and or shadows in your composition on the subjects that you bring in. And as always, make sure you put your signature on your project. Now, some of the concepts that we'll be talking about are 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, surrealism, and then one of the things I want to teach you is copy and paste into. And now if you look down here to the rubric, you will see how you're being graded. So make sure you put your signature on there for 10 points, and make sure you incorporate multiple surreal images into your artwork. Make sure you use at least 3 subjects with required shadows and or reflections. And as always, make sure you use good craftsmanship and effort for your project. So we'll get right into it. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to download the Surreal Perspective project template, which is right here. If you look in Google Classroom, it's right here. If you are just a YouTube person that wants to do this project, I'll put a free download link in the descriptions in my video, so you can obviously follow along. So what you want to do is you want to click on this file to download it, and it's going to pop it up like this. And then you want to go over here to the 3 little dots, more actions, open a new window. And then you want to hit download right here. It'll download into your downloads folder. And you don't want to hit open file because sometimes it won't open. So you want to open up Photoshop and then go to File, Open, go to your downloads. There it is right there, and then just hit open. Now it looks like it's blank, but if you have your layers open, and in case you don't, go to Window, and this is just the way I prefer my workspace to be. I just like layers, checkmarked, options, and tools. If I need the other ones, I can always bring them up, but for me it just seems less clutter. So just make sure you go to Window and you have layers checkmarked and these 2 checkmarked. That one should already be checkmarked because that's what you're working on. So what we're going to do is you're going to decide which one you want to do. So first you need to just click on the eyeballs to see, okay, that's a 2-point background, that's a 2-point background, and then we have 2 1-point perspective backgrounds. Now before we start filling this in, I'm going to show you a little video on what 1 and 2-point perspective is and the difference between both of them.
We have 1-point perspective here. These lines are all coming back to this one vanishing point. So we're kind of looking down a street or down a road. A lot of people do railroad tracks, things like that. And then this is 2-point perspective. And in this one, we are looking at the side of these. So we can see these 2 sides are coming back. One's coming to this first vanishing point, and the other one is coming to the second vanishing point. Hence the name 2-point perspective. So if you're looking at the edge, side, 2-point, front, 1-point. And that's it.
So now that you know what 1 and 2-point perspective is, or kind of have an idea for that, we're going to talk about what surrealism is, and that's when you produce fantastic or out-of-place imagery, basically creating art from your dreams. And if you look at some of these student examples from the past, you'll notice that none of these could exist in real life. Some of them are very, fantastical. This one has, Star Trek shooting a torpedo at a squid. This one's pretty dark. This one has a theme, so you can use themes like Harry Potter, or if you have a movie or sports team you want to put in there. Just make sure that everything's in perspective. You'll see Very, very cool images and imagery that I really want you guys to explore and, you know, create some crazy compositions. So hopefully you have an idea of what I want you to do. So now let's go back to Photoshop and we'll start the project. Okay, so now that we're back in Photoshop, you have to figure out which one you want to do. Now you have your choice of this one or this one or this one or this one. So I'm just gonna do this one just to show you because it's got a lot of 2-point perspective, and then I'll do a little bit of this one. I want you guys to challenge yourself, usually, you know, always. So choose one that, you know, kind of motivates you. So if we do with a 2-point perspective, the first thing you need to do is probably delete all the other ones you don't need. I'm going to delete the ones that I definitely will not be doing a demonstration on. So everybody else, I mean, if you just choose one, you don't have to do two, but I'm going to do two just to show how to do each one. So figure out what 2-point or 1-point background you want to do, turn on the eyeball, then turn off all the other layers or delete them. And to do that, you can just highlight it and hit backspace. I just left the white one on there just in case, you know, some people like to see the whiteness, but anytime you see gray and white checkerboard, that means it's transparent. So I would say the first thing you need to do is get a background for this picture if you're doing this one. So, you know, maybe look up and this always helps me. So Surrealism. And then I always go to tools, go to size, go to large, and try to find a background that kind of makes sense with, you know, what you're doing. Obviously these are all artworks by surreal artists, so maybe I should just type in I don't know, crazy background. There we go. I'll choose something like this, except that's kind of small, so I want to make sure it's large. So go to tools, go to size, go to large, and try not to get something that's copyrighted. Ooh, I like that one. So you find one you like, you know, get it kind of big on there, then you're going to right click, copy image, go back to Photoshop, edit, paste, and then you're going to drag it all the way to the bottom, and then edit, free transform. And if you need to zoom out, view, zoom out so you can see more of the, you know, composition space, the workspace, so you can actually drag this to the size you need. And then hit enter. It looks like you can't see it, but I'm going to turn it off. Now what I want to do is I want to basically color in these, but I want to show you how to do that. So to do this, to color this in, you have your background in, so you don't need to turn it on right now, but you need to be on the layer that you're doing. So I'm doing the 2-point background, the eyeball's on, it's selected. I'm going to choose my magic wand, and then I'll just click on this little square right here. Now I'm just going to look up something that, I don't know, something that interests me. So maybe I'll look up lions images. I'm get pictures. There we go. So I like this one. All right, let's go with that one. So let's click on that. Right click, go to copy image. Let me go back to Photoshop. Now, everybody's want to go to edit, paste, but I do not want you to do that. Instead, go to edit, paste special, paste into. You're going to paste into that selection. So when it happens, it's going to create a layer mask already right there. You can see it. But you need to fit it within that square. So what you need to do is go to edit, free transform. And you can see how big it is. You can make it a little smaller to fit in there. Now, don't leave it just like this. When I grade this, I'm going to make sure that each picture is in perspective. So here's how you do that. So I'm going to make it about the same size, but it's not in perspective because it's going straight across. I want this bounding box, these lines right here, to line up with these four. So here's how you do that. You're going to hold down the control key on your keyboard. First I'm going to make it a little bit smaller first before I hold down control. Alright, you're going to hold down control on your keyboard, and then I'm going to take this little box right here while I hold down control, and I'm going to move it up to that point right there. Now I'm still holding down control. I haven't let go. I'm going to move this one right there. I'm still holding down control on the keyboard. Move that over there, and then holding down control, move that right there. Now it's in perspective. Now if I hit enter, it gets rid of it. Now if you ever need to make changes to it, it's like, see, I got a little sliver right there. Just go to edit, retransform, hold down control, and then just move it up to where it makes sense, and then hit enter. So that's how you get stuff in perspective for each box or each side of the 2-point composition that you're doing. So view, fit on screen. I'll do another one. Maybe this time look up wolves. Wolves are beautiful creatures. Type on, here we go, get that one. I'm going to copy this, go back to Photoshop, use my magic wand tool. Now if I try to select, say this one right here, it didn't select it. Here's why. Select, deselect. I wasn't on the 2-point background. So anytime you want to color something in, make sure you're on the 2-point background. I cannot stress this enough. So I'm on the 2-point background. I'm going to try clicking on this again. There you go. Now I've already copied it, so I'm going to go to edit, paste special, paste into, and then it, for some people they probably stop right here, but I'm a perfectionist, so edit, free transform. It looks like it's in perspective, but it's not, because see, this box does not match up to that box. So holding down control again, gonna move that right up there, move that right there, move that down there so it kind of goes with that line, and then holding down control still, I want to move that down to right about there. Now it's in perspective. Hit enter, and then before I even go to find another picture, I'm going to click on the 2-point background to make sure I'm on the right layer. So after you do that, then you can choose another thing. So maybe this time I'll look up, I don't know, underwater world. There we go. Who knows what's going to pop up. There we go. I kind of want a long picture. So let's do this one. Right click, copy image, go back to Photoshop, edit, paste special, paste into, because I already selected it. Edit, free transform. I'm going to hold down the control. I'm going to move this right up there, this right there, this goes over there, and that goes down there. Now if you don't like that white stuff showing, you can always go up like that so it looks like that. So you get it to where you like it, hit enter, click on your background that you chose, use your magic wand, choose another spot, and then color that in. Now I'm going to speed up and color this in really quick so you get an idea of what it should look like. But even after you get it all colored in, you're still not done, because you have to add 3 subjects to interact with your composition. So I'm going to speed up really quick and color this all in, and then I will show you how to add the subjects. Now, in case you wanted to select more than one thing, you're just gonna, you have your magic wand tool right here, and you go to the Add To selection up on your options bar. It looks like a conjoined square. So if, say I'm doing this one, I'm going to click right here, click right there, and then click right there. So they're all three selected. And then when you find your image, it'll paste into that. So say I want to do a zoo, I don't know. Right click, copy image, then edit, paste special, paste into, edit, retransform. Holding down Control, move that down there, move that down there. And that's how you do that. Now I'm going to go back to coloring this in really fast. Okay, so you might think you're done because you colored it all in and you can turn on your background and you're like, oh yeah, I'm all done. No, you're not. You're not done. You can do something. If your background kind of, it's hard to see your subject, you can always mess around with blending options. You don't have to do this, but I'm on the 2-point background layer. If I go to blending options, and maybe turn up the outer glow. I have red selected, but if I choose like a white and then turn up the opacity, you can see like right here it kind of creates this illusion around the I guess the structure that sets it apart from the background. You can do that if you want. You can even, mess around with the size. You can see it's pretty bright right now. If I turn that up and then maybe turn up the spread, so it stands out a little bit, so it doesn't, blend in with your background as much. And like I said, you can even change the color if you want something like, greener or something. Just something to consider. Maybe even do a drop shadow. Of course, you have to really turn down the distance to see it, and even then it won't, it's leaving a line, so maybe don't do the drop shadow. But outer glow, definitely, that has a nice little effect to it. Anyways, after you do that, part of the requirements are, obviously you put your signature, but you have to put 3 subjects, 3 things in here that's interacting and create a shadow or reflection. So here's how you do that. So you go back to Google Images and then say you want to look up alien, but look up alien PNG. Whatever you look up, subject matter, like a person, subject, whatever, look up PNG after it, because that will make your life a lot more easier. Now, it's a PNG file if you click on it and you see a gray and white checkerboard. If you don't, then you don't have a PNG. This is not a PNG, but this one is. So you don't copy it. You do not copy PNGs. Instead, you right click, save image as, and you save them. Save them where you know where it is. So save it in your desktop, downloads, wherever. Just make sure you know where you save it. Then hit save. Now you're going to go here, file, open, go to your desktop, find the alien, open them up. And he's a PNG file if you can move him around in the picture plane, and he's, that's good. That means it's a PNG file. So to get this onto that, you can see up here I can go back and forth. I'm just going to take this bar right here, and just drag down just a little bit. Use the move tool. I'm going to move him in. I don't need this anymore, so I close it. No. Now you're like, where'd he go? He's right here. He's behind everything. So what do you think I need to do? I need to move him all the way to the top. All the way to the top. And there's a lot of layers. to do that too, and then you just beep. Say you want them right there. All right, so let's zoom in on him a little bit. Looks like he's missing part of his head. Is it? Oh, I guess that's how it is. All right, so if you want to do a reflection is, you can see kind of what it, what's underneath. Here's how you do that. I'm going to show you different ways to do reflections and shadows. So I'll rename him Alien, and you just double click on where it says whatever layer it is. And I'm going to duplicate that layer. Duplicate. I just hit OK. Now I'm going to choose the original Alien because that's underneath. So you have two copies. So if I move the Alien copy just a little bit, you'll see there's two of them right there. So I want the one underneath, which is the Alien. And I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform. And this is where you hold down Control again. Say you want it to reflect this way. I'm holding down Control. You can go this way, that way, but anyways, get it to where you want it. And now it looks like this foot isn't matching up to that one. So again, hold down Control, grab this one and push it over there till it matches up. And then, still holding down Control, I'm going to click on this box and you kind of get it close enough like that. Now, obviously, he's going off the box, so I don't need that part. So first let me hit Enter. Now if I want to fit the whole body in there, I can always go to Edit, Free Transform, and make it smaller, but I kind of just want him to go off the screen. So I can just grab my eraser right here, and I can either just erase, is it not all the way, I got to make sure it's 100% opacity. And then I can just erase right there where I don't need him. Now it still doesn't look like a reflection because it's really opaque. So to turn that down, you just go up to opacity and you just turn it down till you see a nice reflection. Now if you really want to even go further, you can go and try a filter. Filter, blur. I like Gaussian blur. And then you just move this till you see a nice blur. Like right now you can see it's not blurred, but if I move it up just a little bit, it gets a little bit blurry. And then hit OK. And again, if you need to turn down the opacity, you can, so it's kind of see-through. Now if it's a shadow, you do the same exact thing, except you right click on this, go to Blending Options, and turn on Gradient Overlay. Color Overlay. Right now it's gray, but just change that to black, and now you have a shadow. So same thing, if you turn this all the way up to 100%, it's totally black, but if you turn it down, it's a shadow. So whatever you choose to do, make sure if it's a reflection or a shadow, make sure you turn down the opacity so it's not so in your face. So you need 3 of these. So if you need 3 subjects, you need 3 reflections or 3 shadows. So do not forget that part, because when I grade these, I specifically look for the 3 subjects with their shadows, or just making sure they look integrated into the composition. Now again, if you want, say I'm on this Alien copy, you can always go to Blending Options and mess around if you want to make them glow on the outside, or change his glow color, maybe turn this down. Again, I want you guys to experiment and kind of have fun with this. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I want you to create something that's kind of weird looking. So view fit on screen. So there's one subject. Now I'll add 2 more, and then I'll put my signature on. So I'll kind of skip ahead again, add 2 more things on here, and you can see how I do the reflections and or shadows again, just so you get an idea of how it works. All right, now here's something you can do too. If you have, say, your subject's way up there, and you know you won't see his feet because he's on top, again, this is where you use your eraser tool and you just erase where you think he's actually standing. And that's how you do that. Now, he won't have a shadow because he's on top, so that's one way you can get around the shadow thing. Or you could just do this. You could do a blending option, do a drop shadow, and then move the angle to somewhere where you can kind of see it. Obviously turn down the opacity so it's not so dark. So you can do it that way as well. So now you got a little shadow right there. So that's another thing you can do as well. Okay, so now that I have my 3 subjects, I got a lion, Among Us, and the alien, I'm ready to put on my signature. And you can just, open up your signature if you have one. So you can open up your signature and you can either, move it in like that. Or if you don't have a signature, let me make this a little smaller here. Don't have a signature, you can always type it in. So go to T, type tool, change whatever color you want so it stands out. And then you just find a font you like, and then type your name. And then if you need to make it bigger, edit free transform to make it bigger. And as always, you can always do blending options. So right click, blending options, and do some stuff to make it stand out a little bit. It's totally your call. I love when people do that, so it just adds a little extra. And then if it's too much, you can always turn down the opacity a little bit. So it's totally your call. Now, that's how you do the 2 point. 1 point is very, very similar. It's the same concept. It's just a different perspective. Now, when you totally get done, File, Save As. I want to save it as a JPEG, and then definitely type in Surreal, your name. Definitely type in that. Make sure you know where you're saving it. Hit OK, and then you're going to go to Google Classroom, to the project, Add or Create. Go to File, Browse. Go to Downloads, and then find your picture, Open, and then submit it, and you're done. Turn in. So that's how you do the 2 point. Now if you're doing a 1 point, let me delete all these except the one I don't need. Don't need that. Turn that one on. So if you're doing a 1 point perspective, here's how you do it. I would first maybe get an image to go up in here. So again, get really used to using your magic wand tool. If you can't find it, you might have to hold your mouse button. It could be that it's underneath like the object selection tool or something like that. So find the correct tool that you want. So find the magic wand tool, and then click up here, and then maybe you want to do a sky or something. So look up sky and make sure it's large. So go to Tools, Size, Large. Get something that you like. Doesn't have to be a sky. I'm just saying in case you want to do that. Then copy image. Go here, edit, paste special, paste into, edit free transform. Now, to get to color that spot in, you have to hold down Control and just move that to there and move that to there so it colors up that entire spot. So again, hold down Control. Now, if you wanted to make this truly in perspective, this line and this line would be matching up to this line and that line, so it would look like this. However, then you don't have these spots in there. So if you want to make it bigger, and I was holding down Control while I did that, if you don't hold down Control, you just go to Control T, edit free transform, and then you can just literally make it bigger like that, and it'll expand, but now it's kind of distorted. So I would say for the ceiling, it doesn't really have to be perfect because it's going to be totally covered. So again, these lines right here don't match up to those, but it does cover up these little spots right here. So I'm just going to leave this alone. It doesn't look like it's out of perspective anyways, because if you were really standing here and looked up, this is exactly probably how it would look. All right, so say you want to do a brick wall on this wall and this wall, but maybe it's different brick. So if you use your magic wand tool and you click on that, you can't click on it because you're on the wrong layer. So go to select, deselect. I only say this because make sure you're on the right layer when you select stuff. So if I'm going to select this wall, I have to be on this layer, and see how it's highlighted. So I click on that and say I want a brick wall there, and go to tools, size, large. Always use large ones. Ooh, I like this one. So click on it to bring it up, then go to copy image, go over here, and then you're going to go to edit, paste special, paste in 2. Now it's not in perspective because these lines go straight across. It looks kind of weird like this. So you have to go to edit, free transform, and holding down Control on my keyboard, I'm going to have this point match up to that point, this point match up to that point, this point match up to this point, and then this point match up to that. So holding down Control, I'm holding down Control, I'm not letting go. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to drag it right to there, still holding down Control. I'm going to take this one, move it right over there. Again, I'm still holding down Control. I'm going to move this one over there, and then still holding down Control, move that one to over there. Now, I'll say this, hold down Control, but for some reason, some people won't understand that. I literally mean you hold down Control on your keyboard and you line up those 4 points. Now, once you do, you have to hit Enter. Now it looks like it's in perspective, like it's going towards the vanishing point, all these lines. So then you're ready to color or fill in the next thing. Now, if it's going straight across like this, does it need to be in perspective? No, because it's going straight across. So say I go to the 1 point background. Notice because I want to color this in, I want to use the same brick that I use. So I click on this, edit, paste special, paste in 2, edit, free transform, and now you just want to basically try to line it up or fill those in. So I'm trying to make that a little bit bigger, and now it looks like it's really there. Now, if you wanted to do something, this is something I strongly suggest. See how it looks like it's the same lightness? I would think this would be, this side right here would be a little bit darker. So if I go to Image Adjustments and then go to maybe Brightness or Contrast, you can turn down the brightness a little bit. And maybe, I maybe not mess with the contrast as much. And then maybe go to Image Adjustments, Exposure, and then maybe turn that down a little bit. Now it looks like, oh yeah, that's a shadow right there. It looks more real. And then if you wanted to do this little sliver right in here, go back to the 1 point background. I'm clicking on it. Click on that. Edit, paste special, paste in 2, and then edit, free transform. I think you need to make it just a little bit smaller so those brick lines match up. So it's just going to be eyeballing it. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be hopefully close enough. And then same thing, I would even do the image adjustments, you know, brightness, contrast, turn down the brightness a little bit, or, you know, turn down considerably. Now look at that, it looks like it's really there. So then, say you want to do a stone wall over here. Again, if you want to do a stone wall, say I get my magic wand and I click over here, it's not selecting the stone wall because I'm not on the 1 point background. So select, deselect, go to the 1 point background, select the wall, and then maybe look up, I don't know, stone wall texture. Go to tools, size large, find one you like. Ooh, I kind of like this one. There we go. Right click, copy image, go back here. It's already selected. Edit, paste special, paste in 2. Now when this happens, sometimes it'll be really small, sometimes it'll be really big. In this case, it's really, really big. So I'm gonna have to zoom out. So view, zoom out. And if you saw the shortcut, it's Control minus to zoom out, Control plus to zoom in. So if I hold down Control and tap the minus key, it'll zoom out a little bit so I can see how big this picture really is. Now if I go to Edit, Free Transform, yeah, it's fairly large. So I want this top line and this bottom line to match up to this line and that line. So holding down Control, I'm going to move this one right to there. Oh, I'm still holding down Control. And then I'm going to move that one up so it's in the same, you know, same, I guess, orientation as that line right there. Now, still holding down Control, I'm going to move this one over here, and then still holding down Control, move that one down there. Now, this is only possible because I zoomed out, so make sure you zoom out when you need to. Now if I hit enter, it's there. Now it looks like it's in perspective. So that's basically how you want to color this all in. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and color this all in with images from the internet, and then I will show you how to add the 3 subjects when I'm done. Oh, if you do paste something and you can't see it, go to Edit, Free Transform, and you'll see the box pop up. It's there. It's just I have to hold down Control and, you know, expand it to where I need it. So if that ever happens, just hit Edit, Free Transform, and you'll see the box pop up. So don't think it's not there. Might have to zoom out on this one. View, zoom out. Now something else you can do is, like, say you have a floor right here, you can get your burn tool, and then it looks like a little, if you hold your mouse button down, it might, you know, burn tool. And you can even do some light shading around the edges of the walls, so, you know, you can have this, like, kind of, I don't know, almost worn look to it. So like this, that's a dark hallway there, that's a dark hallway right there. So you can even do that. Okay, so when you get completely done, and you know, maybe if you want to experiment with using the burn tool, and that's like, say I'm on this layer right here, you know, find what layer you're on, and you just click on it, and then find your burn tool. You can, you know, experiment with that, or say you want to make this one darker. So see how I highlight it? You can, you know, even use the burn tool over there, or say on, you know, some of these walls. There's one. So if you click on it, you can even use your burn tool to darken some of these as well to make it look more, I don't know, give it more depth. So that's something you can do. But to meet one of the requirements is you have to add 3 subjects in. So here's how you do that. You go and you look up, say, you want to look up a monkey. If you look up monkey, it's going to pop up a bunch of these where you have to use a polygonal lasso tool and select around them to put them in there. But there's an easier way to do that. Look up monkey PNG. So whatever you look up, put the PNG after it, and then you'll get some of these that look like they're cut out or have the gray and white checkerboard background. So if you click on it and you don't see a gray and white checkerboard background, but you see a white background, you can probably still use those. But try to get one that has a gray and white checkerboard background. I think this might be one. I'm not sure. It kind of looks like it's not. Sometimes it looks like a PNG, but it's really not. Yeah, I think this one is. So I'm going to save this. You don't copy it. You save PNG, save image as. Save it somewhere where you know where it is, and then hit save. And then go back to Photoshop. Go to File, Open. And then open up your PNG. Now it'll open up right here. Are your other projects still there? You just have to take this one up here, drag down just a little bit, use the move tool, move it in, close this. Now you're like, well, where to go? I can't see it. Well, it's all the way at the bottom, so you kind of have to move this to the very, very top. And then it's already cut out for you. So say you want it right here. Edit free transform, you can make it bigger. So say we want him right, he's like sitting right here in the window. But it doesn't look real because if I zoom in, you wouldn't see this part of him. So what you need to do is grab if you have something like he's coming out of a window or whatever, grab the rectangular marquee tool and then just make a selection where that black line is right there. See how I stopped it right at the edge of that black line, and I'm still on the monkey layer. This is a selection. View fit on screen. If I hit backspace, it erases them. Now I missed a spot, so I can just go back to this and just simply move that down a little bit and then hit backspace again. So you can do that, but it looks like he would need a shadow right here or a reflection. So here's how you do that. You're just going to duplicate this layer, right click, duplicate layer, hit OK. And then the underneath layer, not the on top, I'm going to go back to the underneath layer, go to Edit, Free Transform, and then I'm going to hold down the Control key. I'm going to grab it right here in the middle and go straight down like this. So it's kind of like an angle, and then I'm going to move it underneath like that. And I'm going to hit enter. Now, of course, I need to erase all that. So get your rectangular marquee tool and just select right there to the edge. Hit backspace. Select, deselect. Now, it doesn't look like a reflection yet. If you want it to make it look like a reflection, all you got to do is turn down the opacity like this. And so it's kind of see-through. And then you can even go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur if you want to, make it kind of fuzzier. See how it's like really fuzzy now? Obviously, don't overdo it. Hit OK. That's how you do a reflection. Now, if you want to do just a shadow, you want to right-click on this layer, go to Blending Options, turn on Color Overlay right here. Change this to black. Hit OK, and then again you can mess with the opacity so you can get the level that you want. Now if you're doing something else, maybe let me do the alien here. Pull this down, move him in. Don't need that. Say he's coming up out of this. Say he's coming up out of the water. Hit enter. Same thing. Grab this rectangular marquee tool. Just select right at the bottom, and then it looks like he's stepping up out of it. And then you can even do use the burn tool on the bottom of his feet to give him that kind of shadow right there. So that's one you can do. If you did want to put a shadow on him, like if you did this with the shadows right there, I wouldn't count off if you don't put a reflection or a shadow. But if you did want to put one, same thing like we did the chimpanzee, just the monkey. You duplicate the layer, click OK, and then you choose the underneath layer, 26, not the copy, the original, and then edit, free transform. Hold down Control, grab that middle one right here, the middle top, and just drag. Now you won't see it, so I'm going to pull it over here. I'm going to zoom out real quick. Zoom out, zoom out. Hold down Control, move it down right here, and then move it up right there. Now if I zoom in on that, looks horrible right now, but hold on, let me get it. I can fine tune it here. So I line those two up. I probably need to erase that, so grab my eraser, just erase that. Now if I wanted to make that a reflection, all you gotta do, turn down the opacity. If you wanted to make it a shadow, right click, blending options, go to color overlay, make this black, and then you can turn that down a little bit, or you can even turn down the opacity here. There's multiple ways you can do it. So view, fit on screen. So there's one way you can do that. Let me add my third thing in. I'll add the lion. Pull this down, use the move tool, move him in, close this. Now say I want him facing the other way. Edit, transform, flip horizontal. So you don't forget about that. Now say you want him coming up at it, like standing right there. Again, you can use the eraser tool and erase this, or zoom in. Probably the easier, faster way is to zoom in, use a rectangular marquee tool, select right at the edge of that wall, and then hit backspace. Select, deselect, and then if you wanted to use the burn tool on like the edge just right here, that's good. But he definitely needs some kind of shadow right there. Now you can either duplicate his layer and do all that stuff, or find the flooring layer, which is this layer right here. I'm going to highlight this, and then I'm just going to use the move tool or the burn tool. I'm going to compress my brush, so I'm on my burn tool, go up here to the options bar, make my hardness 0%, and then if you want to make like an ellipse brush, you just go like that, and see how it's an ellipse, because that's kind of how it would look, the shadow. And then just skate a little bit underneath here like so, and there's your shadow. The last step is, of course, add your signature. So you open that up, and you can either pull that down and move that in like so. You don't need that anymore. If it's too big, edit, free transform. Put that in the corner somewhere. Obviously it needs to be dragged to the top because it's not showing up. Now if you don't have a signature, don't worry, you can always type it in, change your color right there on your options bar, and then just click once and then type your name, edit, free transform. If you need to make it a little bigger, put it in the corner, and as always you can right click and do blending options to make it pop a little bit more, and maybe put a drop shadow or a gradient overlay or a stroke so it stands out. Hit OK, there it is. So you're totally done. You hit all the requirements, you colored it all in, the perspective's good, you have 3 objects, they're interacting with the environment, they have shadows, you have your signature, file, save as, change this to JPEG, Surreal, your name, save, okay, and then if you go to Google Classroom, I've already submitted it. I'm going to unsubmit and submit the new one. Add or create, file, browse, and then you go to Surreal, your name, and open, and that's it. So again, there's 4 to choose from. I just showed you how to do 2, but it's the same kind of techniques and concepts involved. And as always, if you need any help, if you're my student, just come up and see me. I can help you. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this project and create something a little bit crazy and surreal. And as always, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Have a good one.